All right. Hello. Welcome to BSN for Pros. We are a community on Facebook where we are growing our network. And today I have a guest, Jennifer Vossmer, but she's going to allow me to call her Jen. Thank you, Jen. I appreciate it. How's your morning going?
It's going pretty good, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So we're talking this morning. We were just talking earlier. We were having fun, and and I wish I love when we have a great when I do like a post interview. We're having a good time, and
Yeah.
I like to bring that energy over. But when we start over, now we're like, okay, now we're live, like we're here, let's do it, and we're like,
No.
oh. So even I feel it too. It's kind of weird. So how's your morning going? Everything good? Yeah, you were up. You told me that you were up early this morning. So what do you do when you wake up at 4:30 in the morning? 'Cause that's the first thing you said. You were up early.
First thing I do is hit my snooze alarm probably like 3 times. I have 4 different alarms set every morning. Sometimes I'll wake up and just listen to meditation music. Other times I'll wake up and I get dressed in maybe 10 to 15 minutes and I'm off to the office with my rock star.
Damn, you got the rock stars. You're not a coffee girl. You're a rock star girl.
I like coffee as well, but Rockstar is by far my favorite. I know it's not the greatest, but I don't drink, I don't smoke. So if I want to have a Rockstar, I think I'm okay.
Let's do it. I used to drink the monsters, and then I used to work late, and I would drink those monsters, but they would tear my stomach up apart. Like I'd feel great, and all of a sudden, like I'd be like, oh, do you ever have that? Does that ever hurt you, or you're good with that?
No, Rockstar is like my water, and I love spicy stuff. So if I have my Rockstar and anything spicy, I'm good to go. Knock on wood for the time being. One day, hopefully, it doesn't catch up to me, but I'm rolling with it. That's what I love.
What's your spicy food? Where do you like to eat?
Literally anything with habaneros. If I'm not sweating, I'm like, it's okay. But habaneros, jalapenos. Whenever I go to a restaurant, I'm like, please bring me your spiciest sauce, and I put it on everything. So,
Um, have you ever? There's a. Have you? Do you like Buffalo Wild Wings?
yeah, it's
Yeah. Have
good.
you ever
It's
had
not
their?
as good as I.
I used to. Have you ever had the habanero? Did you ever have those before? Is that spicy? Because that's spicy for me.
Yeah, it is pretty spicy. Not the spiciest that I've had, but it's pretty spicy.
Okay, so you beat me. Okay, you beat me. I thought I was a pretty tough guy with the spicy stuff. So, where is there a restaurant that you recommend in Las Vegas that has like really good like spicy? Like you're like
The one Rock and Roll Sushi down on the strip. I went there and I asked the waiter, I was like, can you bring me your spiciest sauce? And he said, yeah, of course. And he brought me this little dish with literally a dab of hot sauce on there. And I wasn't thinking. And I dipped my whole sushi roll in there and I took a bite. Instantaneously, my skin like lit on fire. I started sweating, my eyeballs started watering, and I look over and the entire sous chef line was staring at me and laughing. And then the waiter was like, is that spicy enough? And I was like, yes, it was. I was like, it was amazing. Can you bring me more? But
oh,
the entire sous chef was like, the line of kitchen was just staring at me
just
laughing. That was
watching
the
it.
hottest thing I've ever had.
Yeah, I think you're the first person I ever met that like. I mean, I'm just gonna say you're just like I'm Mexican, right? And like we have competitions at my house, and you're telling me, and I asked you a question. I asked you, I'm like, dang, like I don't know, like I feel like I have some competition here. I like those like bacon jalapenos, like straight up. You ever have those before? Is that
Yes.
yeah? So I'm trying to figure. I'm trying to level up with you, Jen.
And no, when I make like jalapeno poppers, I won't take out the seeds. So I'll leave those in there. And then my mix is like cream cheese, garlic with habaneros inside stuffed in
Oh, you put more
jalapeno.
spicy stuff. Oh, jeez. All right, you're scared. All right, all right. I'm a little bit like okay. Um, you have two boys. You have two boys. Tell me their names.
Yeah, so Calvin is my 7-year-old and he is just theatrical. He can literally cry on command. Me being his mom, I'm like, I know that's fake. And then Maddie is 10. Maddox is his full name. But yeah, Maddox and Calvin are my two little ones. They're my best friends. They travel everywhere with me. We're going to Hawaii in a couple weeks. I'm really excited. We just got their passports, so we're going to start traveling out of the country next year once everything starts settling down with everything going on in the world. But yeah, those are my two little ones.
Yeah. And Hawaii. Have you been to Hawaii before?
I have.
Yeah.
I have, but for some reason the boys have been wanting to go there. I think The Rock has something to do with it.
Oh, the Rock. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Rock. Yeah. Which I are you going to? Which island are you going to?
Oahu.
Oahu. Very cool. Very cool. That's
Yeah, one of my girlfriends who actually lived in Vegas and we performed together for years, she moved back over there, which is where she's originally from. So she has two kids. We're going to see her, and then we're stopping by LA first to pick up one of my other girlfriends and her kids. So we're all going to fly out there. It'll be 3 moms and 5 kids.
awesome. So it's gonna be like a little adventure and then good downtime and relax. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Um, so we were talking earlier also to you're a choreographer, you're a performer. Tell us about that. Like, when did you start getting into that?
Yeah, so I started I started dancing when I was literally 4 years old. And when I got into junior high, I knew that that was my passion, that that's what I wanted to do as a career. So like literally when I graduated high school, my principal called me into the office my senior year and he was like, Jen, I've seen that you haven't applied for any colleges yet. And I was like, you're correct. And he's like, well, what are you going to do with your life? And I'm like, well, I am going to travel the world and perform and do what I love. And he kind of, laughed at me. But sure enough, right out of high school, I was actually doing nationals out in Vegas. And one of the choreographers at the time, he was like, Jen, you should go to this audition tomorrow morning for a cruise ship. So I went to the cruise ship audition, and literally less than a month and a half later, I was rehearsing down in Florida, got shipped off to Finland to pick up a new ship, traveled all the way down. I did my first contract as a professional dancer on a cruise ship. We poured out of Puerto Rico. From there, I just have continued to be blessed to be able to choreograph and perform for my career for the past 20 years. So it's taken me all over the world, and I 100% makes my heart grow and live.
You said that you were performing, and then I was thinking, I wonder if she did cruise ships. I wonder if she's done it. And I saw this pretty cool documentary was about like the cruise ships, and they showed the performers, and they put them in how they all live like in this little cabin, and then on they are working like all day long. They're to get ready for the shows because they have to give the best show out there, and it was pretty cool to watch. Is it like that, or is it not like that?
I was a little spoiled, I'm not gonna lie. For my first contract, I had so many people coming on, literally, and I was only 19. One of my friends from Puerto Rico, he cruised with me for almost 2 months. And then I had family coming on, so I was constantly eating at the captain's table. I didn't rarely stay down in my little cabin, but as a performer, our cabins are very, very tiny. But again, I just stayed with my family and friends up in the bigger cabins. And my cruise was a little bit different. We only did 2 parades. We only did 2 shows for the entire week, and our cruise was a week cruise. Again, we poured out of Puerto Rico. We went to Aruba, Curacao, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. And besides that, we didn't have any extra crew duties. So I was very lucky. I loved my first cruise experience. But one time was enough. I like to travel and keep going and different and new things.
What project have you done in Las Vegas?
So when I first moved to Vegas, I started off doing a couple shows at the Venetian. If people are familiar and have been here for a while, C2K, the old showroom at the Venetian, was my very first showroom that I performed in. It was called a Frank Sinatra tribute. So a couple smaller shows there. And then the bigger shows, I went into Siegfried and Roy. I was there the last year. I was there the night that he got bit by the tiger and everything. Of course, that ended that show. From there, I went into Sirens at Treasure Island. I fought some pirates for a couple years. And then from there, I also did the Vamps at Paris. But I mainly have just been freelancing, doing shows all over the world. And then I'm also an in-house choreographer for Maria Battaglia, which she owns an amazing agency. She was a performer, actually a showgirl back in the 80s, but she owns her own agency. It's very highly respected out here, and I love it. I've been working with her as her in-house choreographer for over 15 years now.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing story. I've worked on the strip, and I've met people that are in the industry, and that's a whole different world.
It is.
It's a whole different world, but that here's the thing, like there is people do they're like we're Las Vegas, we're the entertainment, so people want to get into become like dancers or be in shows or entertainment. That's something that's all over the world. So it's a lot of these people they start here in Las Vegas and they get involved, and all of a sudden they're like, you're telling me this story, like boom, you're traveling around the world, you're meeting people, you're doing this, and now you're doing. And then we're going to talk about what you're doing. So what are you doing now? You're doing the insurance. You're doing health insurance advisor.
Yes, sir. Yep. So, like I told you a little bit before, so being a performer when COVID hit, entertainment's the first thing to go, as far as budget wise goes for a lot of companies with a lot of the cuts that they're making in their budgets and everything. But of course, COVID as a whole put a stop to a lot of people's jobs. So I was doing some homeschooling at home with my two boys. And I was like, okay, I don't know when entertainment is going to be coming back, so I need to figure something out. And so I went online searching, and I came across this opportunity to be a licensed health advisor. And so I jumped on it. I, just put my faith in it. And I was like, I'll try this. I walked in with a clean slate. I literally was a sponge and just soaked everything up. And I actually fell in love with it. It's really weird. That's why I say what makes the world go round is everybody kind of finds their own little thing that they flourish in. And for some reason, health insurance led me from dance. It led me straight into health insurance, being able just to communicate with people and to genuinely care about people. But that's how I got into the health insurance world, was just by whim from COVID. If COVID didn't happen, I wouldn't be here. But it's definitely changed my life for the better.
I think a lot of people, because of COVID and the shutdown, had to recalibrate, and there was a lot of recalibration in their lives right there. So when that happened during the shutdown, what went in your mind? Like, what was something that because I know that I'm not gonna try to put words or try to put in, but I want you to like think about when you said the strip's going to shut down, there's no work, we're not gonna, and you don't know what was going. What thoughts came through your mind?
Honestly, I'm that person who's always positive. I had a good friend. He was like, Jen, everything is not sunshine and rainbows. And I'm like, no, but it's how you look at it. It's how you perceive it. So if something comes up, I'm like, okay, so this happened, it's not the best, but what can I do to make it better for the place that I'm in right now? So when COVID happened, I didn't panic or anything like that, but I was like, okay, I just need to figure out something. And in my mind, things happen for a reason. So I always keep an open mind. And I just believed in myself that I would find something else that would provide for me and my boys, and just had the faith in the positivity of knowing that I'm going to be okay and something else will come along.
I think that's great that you did that you, because a lot of people did say, oh, they gave up, they quit, or
Mm-hmm.
they stop, and you took action. And look, this is where you're at right now. Now you're a health advisor. So is a health advisor for a business owner, for a person who's not a business owner? Tell me about, like, okay, I'm just a guy. If I said, hey, I didn't wake up in the morning and say, oh man, I wish I could call a health advisor this morning. But like, I want
Right.
to tell. So tell me, like, about like why someone needs to wake up and say, I need to call a health advisor this morning.
Yeah.
I need to call Jennifer Vossmer today.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, as a licensed health advisor, I work with individuals, families, small business owners, typically if you have 20 employees or less. But what I do is I go through all of the options. So, if you're looking for health coverage or life insurance, dental, vision, what I do is I go through the options on the public market, which is also known as Obamacare. That's where you can qualify for savings based off of your income. And then there's the private sector, where you can qualify for savings based off of your health. So a lot of my clientele, obviously, they're going to be healthy for the private sector, but I also help a lot of small business owners and self-employed individuals, because it's not based off of your income. So a lot of times as self-employed or small business owners, including myself, at the end of the year, or at the beginning of the year when you're trying to figure out how much you're going to make. If you say you make a certain amount on the public market and you qualify for a subsidy, at the end of the year, if you make more, they're going to penalize you at the end of the year. So a lot of us who are self-employed, we like to stay away from anything further of the government going, through all of our taxes and making sure exactly what we made. So the private sector being strictly based off of health, it alleviates that whole thing there. And then as well, you can write your premiums off at the end of the year as tax write-offs, which if you're self-employed, we always like our tax write-offs. But yeah, so if you're looking for health insurance, that's why you would call me. Typically, a lot of people don't know a personal licensed health advisor, so they'll put their information online. When you do that, you do get tapped on by a lot of different people, because once you put your information online that you're looking for health coverage, it does get sent to numerous carriers and numerous agents. So by people reaching out to me directly, it also alleviates the headache of their phone being blown up, especially as a business owner. You don't want to constantly be getting phone calls for the same thing. You want to have your phone line free for your own business. So that's where I help my people directly. And again, just being able to go through all options because I am licensed, and I'm licensed in 32 states.
32 states. We got to go for all 51 or 50-50.
Well, the private sector is not available in all the states, but I'm licensed in as many states as I can.
Can you tell me an experience that where someone said, Jen, man, I'm so glad that I called Jen. Like, this is why they called you, and the results or something positive that came out of it.
Yeah, I have a lot of experiences with that, and a little bit different with myself too, as I actually stay with my clients. So I'll tell you one story and then I'll tell you another one after that. Sure. So one of the ones that always sticks out to me, I had this family in Texas. It was a husband, a wife, and 2 kids. They were paying over $2,500 for their insurance on the public market. If you are on the public market, you know that they're a little bit more expensive if you're not qualifying for a savings or subsidy, and they have really high deductibles. So this family was self-employed. They owned their own business, so they didn't qualify for any savings. And so when I talked to him and I went through all of the options, I ended up saving him about $1,200 a month. So that's a huge savings for him and his family, not only to have more money for his business, but to also have more money for his family. And he still, he randomly texts me sometimes and he's like, did you see this on the news? And his wife owns a small business on Etsy, and she's amazing as well. But just to know that I help their family save money and still getting them the benefits that they're looking for is what I'm here for. And it's just awesome because that's what a lot of people are looking for. They know that health coverage is serious for in the event of something major or catastrophic. They want a safety net where they know that they're not going to be financially vulnerable with millions of dollars of bills. They're going to have a stop loss with health insurance. So that makes me happy to be able to do that. And in return, it makes my clients happy as well. And I try to, exactly how I talk to you is how I talk to my clients. I don't change from one person to the next, regardless of, what I'm talking about or who I'm helping, because I genuinely listen to my clients and I'm here to help them just as if they were my friends or family. One of my other clients was reaching out to me literally just 2 days ago. She's like, Jen, I'm pregnant. And we were just talking about being pregnant. But it's awesome because it builds relationships. Some people as agents will just sign you up and you'll never hear from them again. I'm completely the opposite, where I genuinely build relationships and I stay with you. So if you have questions or concerns, you literally reach out to me directly and I'm right here for you.
Awesome. Jen, how can people get a hold of you? Like, what's the best way to get a hold of you? Do you want them to Facebook, Instagram? Do you have how can people get a hold of you?
That's a great question. So Facebook is really simple because there is a direct link to Calendly. So you can go in there and book a direct appointment, or you can reach out to me on my personal line, which is 419-239-3005. But again, Facebook is just great because you can go on there. You can see some of my clients' reviews. You can also see just some different pictures on there. The licenses, or excuse me, the states that I'm licensed in and everything like that. And again, you can click the button and book directly with me at whatever time works best for you.
Awesome, Jen. I appreciate your time. I know you're busy. You got family, you got to work. And
Yes.
thank you for coming on. And if anyone has any questions, I'll put your information in the comment in the heading on top, and they can just click on the link and reach out to you directly. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time.